let's talk about a little bit about Charles Barkley before we get in the NBA, before we get into WNBA talk and bang and take his break. Charles Barkley announced right after Game 4. I felt like it was impromptu, but it didn't feel like it once I saw that, all the stuff TNT was doing. So obviously TNT knew ahead of time. But Charles Barkley announced that no matter what happens with inside the NBA, whether they come back for the 2020 for the 25-26 season, that he's going to retire, after his 25th year of doing media. And that's going to be in for Inside the NBA regardless now, because even if Inside gets picked up by another network, it's not Inside without Chuck. Let's just be 100% real. We already know Ernie staying with Turner. So next season is going to be the swan song for Charles Barkley and the Inside the NBA crew. Damian, what you think about, this announcement that Barkley made and, just what we think next season is going to be, knowing this is going to be the swan song?
With Barkley, it's going to be a huge loss, obviously, because that's one of the main reasons that show works how it does, because Barkley's the off the cuff, like, don't give a fuck what will come out his mouth part of that show. It's going to be a huge loss, like, because on the TNT games, like, that's one of the main reasons I even watch the game, is to see what them niggas gonna say afterwards. I think it's his loyalty to Ernie, because Ernie brought 25 years ago. I think it's the loyalty to him, to that crew, to that show. And I think he knows that it's not gonna have that same feeling if he goes to any other network. So he might as well just go while it's hot. His last season, he gonna be off the chain. He gonna be saying whatever. He gonna show up on set drunk a lot, like a lot. So the censors better be ready. He already don't give a fuck now. Like, as soon as all the media deal news start coming out, you saw him. He's like, "Oh, I got to be on LinkedIn. Like, I'm on LinkedIn right now, looking for a new job." So he really gonna be off the hook on his last season, and it's gonna be weird. NBA is not gonna be the same without him doing post-game shows like that. So he gonna be missed.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head, man. Like, I don't want, like, for the NBA Finals, if it says like 7:30, I'll turn the game on at 7:30. I don't want to hear Stephen A. In Malika. I think Malika does a good job. I feel like she's the one that keeps that show from being really, really, really bad. But I'm not trying to watch any other pregame shows. With Inside, I watch it not because of the hoops. I want to see, like, kind of like your uncles yell at each other for like an hour before the game starts, an hour after. So this is going to be something that's definitely going to be missed. I don't remember in my NBA viewing, I started watching the NBA in 1995, 1996, and I don't remember a time with no Inside the NBA. So this will definitely be new for me and for the rest of viewers, in our age bracket. But at the same time, I'm glad they're getting the swan song. It's not like something that's abrupt. I know some people thought that, this is going to be the last game. No, they still got a full season. And we know TNT is going to send them off right. And we're going to get a great season next year. We're probably even going to do a special. And knowing how the NBA does, they might even have them. Would not shock me if next year they do like some cover the finals type thing, just because it's their last year, kind of like how right before Craig Sager actually retired, before he died, and they had him do the NBA finals thing. And maybe they do something special for them, where maybe they extend Inside for the finals, and that's their swan song, whatever they have. And so I think it'll be a nice ride for them. And then we just get ready for this new era. But Charles Barkley, man, he's I think, like you said, Dan, I think it's him being loyal, because Charles Barkley probably get a blank check to whatever network he decides he wanted to go to. So that's how I feel about it. So salute to Sir Charles. I've been a fan of Charles since he was a player, man. I wanted a Charles Barkley jersey so bad when I was a kid, but we just could not find one, obviously being in Chicago. And this was pre-internet, nigga. So whatever was adventure, nigga, you had to get. That's what my first jersey was a Sean Kemp. That was the only one they had there. But shout out to Charles Barkley. Bang, what you think about Barkley making this announcement?
I mean, expected. For me, it was expected. The TNA team, the TNT team, thinking about wrestling, First Black Champ. Make sure y'all go listen to that latest episode. But the TNT team just didn't see it going nowhere, because they have all said that they not going nowhere if Ernie ain't with them. And Ernie is a lifer over there in Atlanta. So if he wasn't going nowhere, they not going nowhere. Kenny gonna probably stay on the college coverage. Shaq might move around, possibly. And Charles Barkley going home. He can't be Charles Barkley nowhere but TNT. TNT gives him not only the money, but they give him carte blanche to do whatever he feel to help elevate that show. Like, you got to remember, this show was going on before Charles Barkley, Shaq, and Kenny Smith. So this is a legacy show, no matter what you think. It's just with this group right here, there's no iteration of this show how we know it now without the four of them. And if you're not going to have the four of them, I'm like Chuck. Shit, let me go chill.
Dante, what you feel about this decision from Chuck?
I believe it because, I mean, you know, living in Atlanta, I live down the street from Turner Studios, and after every show, Chuck is immediately at the bar below my crib. So it's like he's semi-retired already, bro. So it makes sense with the amount of money he's made, and for him to have a great Hall of Fame NBA career, and now he's probably gonna get to the Broadcast Hall of Fame in some capacity. Doing that for 25 years, really, you know, setting the tone and having the premier show for basketball. I think, you know, I tip my cap to Chuck. Hell of a career, like you said. Is a guy who everything he accomplished at 6'4" is actually fucking crazy when you look at it. And like, I've met Chuck before. He is 6'4". Like, it's no exaggeration. Not one of those people that got, you know, the extra 3 or 4 inches and they say they 6'8" and all that other shit. No, Charles Barkley is legit 6'4" and was a dog of a power forward. So, I mean, I got nothing but love for Chuck. Like you said, he's hilarious. Part of the reason, one of the main reasons we watch the show. But he's somebody who's actually gotten better over the years. And even though, obviously, like I said, we don't take everything he says as law, he's one of the, you know, athletes who really showed us that just because you were great at the sport don't mean you actually know what the fuck you're talking about. But in terms of television, Chuck was always A1. So, I mean, that's something I feel it. At first, I was like, nah, he capping depending on how much money they throw his way. But, I mean, at this point, at his age, he's made a lot of money. He's made enough to where he can just go and just relax and really just enjoy the rest of his life. So, it's unfortunate, but we knew this was coming. We knew that the show was going to be on its final year next year. And now this is just like the real, in my opinion, the real final nail in the coffin. Because like everybody said, without Chuck, you don't have a show. Like, I don't care who you try to bring in, you know, he's talking, and I respect Chuck because he said, you know, I want to, you know, pass it to Jamal Crawford, to Vince Carter, somebody else, like basically, you know, allowing another former player who had a long career. You come in and now you come do this. So that was dope. So I think he's done. I think he's finished for real.
That paper on this player haters, old news, money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other